Turkey, 2024. The country hasn't had this many cases of deadly violence against women in many years. In October alone, 48 women were killed, most by partners or family members.
Every time I read about the murder of a woman, it all comes back. My body trembles, the adrenaline flows. I actually feel the pain these women must have felt.
Abject fear still pursues Öznur Gülbaş whenever she leaves her apartment in Eskişehir, western Turkey. 5 years have passed since she was nearly killed by her ex-husband. He stabbed her 16 times with a knife. Gülbaş carries a GPS receiver with her at all times. The culprit is back on the streets, with only an ankle monitor keeping track of him. If he gets too close to her, an alarm sounds, but she can't shake the uncertainty.
I always have to carry this device with me and always keep the battery charged. But still, I rarely go anywhere.
Gülbaş's voice can be heard at many a demonstration against femicide around Turkey. The offices of the We Will Stop Femicide platform are one of the few places Gülbaş still regularly visits. As a survivor, she does what she can to support women.
These women have always supported me in my struggle for justice. And so I've decided to help other women and mothers who, like me, have become victims of violence in their own struggles.
The activists plan the next protests. The organization is facing a potential ban. The government is accusing it of infringing on morals and family values. At the same time, Turkish women are increasingly having to worry about their safety out on the streets.
At any time, I can be attacked or even killed by a man known or unknown to me. We can't allow ourselves to get used to living with that in this day and age.
The number of fatalities recorded here keeps rising. By the end of 2024, there will be many more than the 400 already counted, not to mention unsolved murders.
Women are allegedly falling out of hotel room windows or from their balconies, and the media report it as suicide. On top of that is the widespread culture of impunity that we have to fight against. After a conviction, penalties for many of the perpetrators are reduced.
This was the case for Öznur Gülbaş's ex-husband. Initially, he was sentenced to 7 years in prison for attempted murder. For Gülbaş and her young son, it was a brief respite. But then came the appeal hearings.
He was credited with time served in pre-trial custody. Then the sentence was only 1 year in prison, and he didn't even have to serve all of that. At some point, you start to wonder if you don't bear some of the guilt yourself. The courts and the authorities are always making you feel like you do.
Turkey's opposition parties are outraged over the inadequate protection of women against violence. They accuse Erdogan's administration of encouraging perpetrators.
With just one signature, Mr. Tayyip Erdogan left the International Convention combating violence against women. And with that, the state ended its support for our women.
The people in the streets of Eskişehir lay the blame for the rise in violence against women on a lack of education.
The more people read and educate themselves, the more understanding they develop for their partners.
It's very clearly inadequate education and a matter of how you raise your own children.
Öznur Gülbaş agrees. She does what she can to keep her own son insulated against the culture of violence against women that's so widespread in Turkey.
I want him to become a good member of society, above all, one that shows respect for women. I dedicate myself tirelessly to that end.
Survivors like Özgür Gülbaş carry the banner of hope for Turkey. Hope for a world in which women can live without fear.